Not everyone, I guess, but this is a cool story. They're not all cool. We were on tour. I told it wrong last night. Phil and then my tour manager was like, "That was not the right story. That's not how it went down." So I'm gonna try to. I tried to get the facts. I'm gonna try to tell it right tonight. We were touring. Wait, I'm gonna do a sub story first, then the story. We were touring, whatever, and we were going from Florida to Texas. And, yeah. It's really cool when you're not in a van. We were in our tour van, and, that's like a good, I don't know, 18 hours or something? I don't know. It's really far. We were like down in Florida. Florida's a weird state. You like think that it's not that big, but then you just keep driving and you're like, yo, like where are we right now? It's like, yo, we're still in Florida right now. I don't know. I'm from the South. I'm not dogging on the South. I'm just saying it's interesting. So anyway, we decided, look, let's just drive like straight through and get to New Orleans, right? Because we love New Orleans. It's one of my favorite cities other than San Francisco. And let's just get there so then we can have a couple days off in New Orleans and chill and not be on the road the whole time. So I'm like, cool, you guys drive, I'm gonna fly. So, I know, right? I decided to fly from Florida to New Orleans while the band drove. I know I'm gonna get the story wrong again, but it would take too long to tell the whole thing. So anyway, we get to New Orleans. It wasn't New Orleans, but just for the sake of the story, it was New Orleans. And the guys pull in, and I'm like, yo, like, how was the drive? And they're like, oh man, dude, like, you don't even know what happened. Like, we got pulled over. I'm like, really? And the thing with got pulled over when we started this tour, the registration on my van had expired. But we were like, let's just do it because it'd take too long to get it, Yeah, great idea. So, whatever, we get to him, I'm like, what happened? He's like, well, we got pulled over, and like the cop, we're in like, whatever, the South, and big, Air Force aviator sunglasses and spits and big belt. Cops come, state trooper, and he's like, hey, I pulled you over, whatever, you're speeding, and then I ran your, registration, and your registration's expired. And Phil, my tour manager, was like, yeah, we know it's expired. And he's like, well, who's Trevor? Because the van is in Trevor's name. Who's Trevor? And Phil's like, oh, Trevor's not here right now. Cop is like, what? So Phil explains, well, we're a band, and we're touring, and we had a long way, so Trevor flew to New Orleans, and we're driving the van with all the instruments and gear and everything and all that stuff. The cop just kind of like, sits back and he's like, so let me get this straight, right? Your boss left you with his unregistered van and made you drive 18 hours to New Orleans while he is sitting pretty in a hotel room somewhere. Phil was like, yeah, that's about right. The cop was like, all right, you just go ahead. So, now to the main story. We're in New Orleans, we're chilling, everybody's happy, it's cool, we're in New Orleans. And one day I was walking along the Mississippi there, and there wasn't too many people around, and I had a shirt on that said Wish. And I'm walking, all of a sudden I hear somebody say, hey Wish man, what's your wish? And I was like, oh, what was that? I turn over and I see this guy sitting on old guy sitting on a bench, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna entertain this because this is New Orleans and magic happens in places like this, So I go over to him, I'm like, I'm sorry, what'd you say? He's like, your shirt says Wish, If you had one wish, what would it be? And I was like, oh man, I don't know, you know, you kind of put me on the spot here. He's like, no, it's all right, man. He's like, take your time, take your time. I ain't going anywhere, you know. And I was like, all right, all right. And he's like, come on, man, world hunger, you know, peace, what? Come on, think of something. I'm like, well, what would your wish be? And he's like, my wish would be I would never run out of whiskey. So I was like, cool, you know. But then all of a sudden this thing happened, you know, and I can't figure it out because this has happened a few times, right? And I feel like on your path, your life journey, your spiritual path, whatever, that great spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, kind of comes through different people and teaches you something at that moment. And you know, sometimes I feel like, oh, maybe it's the person and their natural wisdom, which I'm sure that's part of it, but maybe for a second, that person just kind of steps aside and there's something that comes through, you know? All of a sudden the man was like, you know, all we got is this moment right here, right now. It's like, close your eyes, that's the end. That's the end for you. And he said to me, you don't know if I'm going to walk 15 steps this way, and I don't know if you're going to walk 15 steps that way. It's like, we don't know. All we have is this moment right now. And I was like, okay, I got it. This world. And I said, well, thank you, man. He said, thanks, man. I'll see you around. And I walked off and wrote this song.